right, welcome back. You probably feel like the entire country is losing its mind. You're not alone. The politicians, teachers, even major corporations are all pushing an agenda that was very bizarre just a few years ago. Nike, Anheuser-Busch, Kate Spade, so many others fully indoctrinated by trans ideology. It's not happening by accident, though. While many companies and large corporations in this country are doing this, and they are led by virtue-signaling big city liberals who don't mind it, they are all, in fact, being held at gunpoint by woke lobbying groups. The gay rights agenda has been seized by the militant trans agenda, which has escalated the fight for equality into what has effectively become a hostile takeover. Using the Corporate Equality Index, also known as CEI, the CEI score. It's a lesser-known part of the ESG, environmental, social, corporate governance. A company's CEI score is determined by the Human Rights Campaign, another very dangerous group, the largest LGBTQ lobbying group in the world, which of course gets millions of dollars from people like George Soros. Companies that obtain the maximum 100 total points earn the title of Best Place to Work for LGBTQ Equality. And of course, that's used as leverage all the time. Points are deducted if the company supports any organization that advocates against the LGBTQ agenda and does not fulfill any of these components: workforce protection, inclusive benefits, corporate social responsibility, and advertising to LGBTQ customers, responsible citizenship as well. Here's how Bud Light's vice president defended her decision to destroy her own brand with trans virtue signaling.
This brand is in decline. It's been in decline for a really long time. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. Okay, what does evolve and elevate mean? It means inclusivity. It means shifting the tone. Bud Light had been kind of a brand of fratty, kind of out of touch humor, and it was really important that we had another approach.
Worried about a minimal customer base that they said was declining. Let's throw away the entire base and create something that nobody wants. Great job by a marketing executive there. Vince Dow hosts a show all about cultural issues on YouTube, and he joins us now. Vince, good to see you. So far, more than 840 U.S. companies have racked up a pretty high CEI score, bowing to all of this. Basically, a shakedown is what it is. And if there's one thing that we do know, it's that massive companies run by mostly rich white people will sell this country out in a heartbeat if it means that they can be left alone to continue just making their money. This is kind of like BLM all over again.
Yeah, and I think this explains a lot why a company like Bud Light would do something so financially suicidal as to bring that character onto a brand that sells primarily to men, right? Because a lot of conservatives look at that like, what are they thinking? Go woke, go broke. They're going to go very broke. But this is the problem. What is happening in the modern corporate economy is not capitalism, right? Because capitalism assumes there's actually this free market here and you're trying to appeal to consumers. These people are not trying to appeal to consumers. They're trying to appeal to BlackRock and, like you said, this corporate equity index and, these very wealthy investors that over the past decade or so have essentially bought out significant shares in every major corporation and are now using that influence to just push this social agenda. And as an actual capitalist, people are very unable and powerless to stop it. And the question really arises, what do you do when firms like this and this corporate equity index controls essentially the entire corporate economy? It's very hard to compete. And so this might be a hot take for some of your viewers, Rob, but I think that, frankly, if the U.S. government in some way, hopefully when Republicans control it, do not step in and figure out some type of solution to this, I don't see how free market capitalism is going to survive at all.
I mean, I think we all assumed that somehow this insidious agenda was going to corrupt this country. I don't think we knew how it was going to happen, but collectivism, Marxism, whatever you want to call it, has found its way into every society that's ever existed, and this has been the holy grail because of all the wealth of this country, and they have figured out a way to get, everything that's being pushed right now. The world is, the country, I should say, is going insane at an incredible clip, and it's all pushing in one direction, and that's toward socialism, collectivism, whatever it is. And all of this is based on that. You're hearing the word equity all the time. There's a reason for that.
And isn't that the great irony of it, right? How are the Marxists taking over our country? It's through the guise of corporations, right? It's through the guise of what is an abuse of capitalism. Like I said, like I don't think it is truly a free exercise of capitalism for very wealthy firms like BlackRock, for instance, to buy out just huge shares of American corporations. And instead of appealing to consumers, now they're appealing to BlackRock because they're like, we want you to keep on investing in it. So yeah, it's not capitalism. It's crony capitalism, whatever you want to call it. But someone has to step in somehow and do something about this. We need to return to a true free market, not a market that's bought out by a corporate equity index and ESG.
Right, and the unholy alliance between government and those corporations as well is a huge part of it, and that oligarchy that's forming in this country. Vince Dow, good conversation. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.